Kasia. Nice to see you again.
Kasia, nice to see you. Have a seat. How are you today?
Pretty good. I'm kind of excited to, get to know everything.
Great. I'm excited to show you all my findings and all the research that I have done.
Okay. Hopefully nothing bad.
No. So what brings you here today, may I ask?
I've been having troubles with eating healthy my whole life. I always eat either way too little or way too much. And I just kind of don't even know portioning out my sizes, how to portion out meals properly. And I just kind of want to become healthier and learn new tricks.
So what I hear you saying is that you like to change up your foods maybe, and a variety of foods that you like to eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you say, it's very true, because it's I see that when I eat everything that I know how to make. I don't really go out of the way to make different foods or try different varieties.
So what I hear you saying, are you looking for something, maybe a change down the line?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. So first off, before we do anything, I like to go over your personal and your medical history that you brought for me. Mm-hmm. Thank you for filling it out. Mm-hmm. I know it was probably time consuming. Glad you got that done. So let's just go over from here. Mm-hmm. So what I see that you have written here is that your ideal weight would be 160, so you want to lose weight. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. Let's see what else you have. Blood pressure. And does health run in your family? Everyone's healthy?
Now thinking about it, I know my dad, he's having problems with his blood pressure. He takes high blood pressure medication, and his whole family on his side, his brothers and stuff, they all have high blood pressure, and I know I'm at risk. And so I kind of right now I know I'm okay with my blood pressure, but I don't want to later on have problems. So I feel maybe getting to learn how to eat healthier and balance out my portions better, I feel that would definitely help me out with my blood pressure later on.
So what I hear you saying is that blood pressure might not be a problem right now, but you think it might be a problem down the line?
Yes, definitely.
Is that correct?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So I'll just write blood pressure over here for you. Mm-hmm. Just to add it into this. Let's see. I also had another question here. I put a little dot. There was a question, I am on a weight-reducing diet. And it says, please explain below. And you did mark true. Okay. Is there a specific diet you're on? Or
See,
I just
this
wasn't
question,
sure.
I wasn't actually either really sure about it.
Okay.
I was just kind of thinking weight-reducing. So I was I'm not on any special pre-packaged meal diet. I just try to eat healthier. Watch what I eat, but it's nothing scheduled out for me. It's kind of my personal weight-reducing diet.
Okay. So what I hear you saying, it's not like a Weight Watchers or an Atkins diet. No. So it's just a diet. Is it something that you came up on your own, or are you seeing a trainer?
I actually joined WHIP. It's in West Hartford. It's kind of like a boot camp kind of thing.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so it's actually really fun. So it's kind of getting me active. So I have a trainer for my fitness, but I don't have a trainer for my
for your food
nutrition. So that's why I came to you.
Okay. So I'll just mark right over here. From what I heard you say, that you aren't on a reducing diet, and specifically you're just trying to eat healthier.
Okay.
So eating healthier. Just so we have that clarified. I had a few questions. Okay, let's see what else we have over here. I see that you marked that you're under significant stress. Yes. Is that on a regular basis? Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. So right now I'm a full-time student at Central Connecticut State University. And so whenever I'm in school, I'm under a lot of stress, because it's I have so much homework and so much exams, and it's just very difficult for me to kind of manage my time wisely. And I also have a job, and that's very time consuming and demanding. And so I just kind of forget sometimes to even eat, or I eat way too much sometimes, because it just, the stress really gets to me sometimes. I don't sleep well sometimes either. Mm-hmm. So school's very stressful for me.
So usually in a rush, so you eat food on the go, as you stated over here. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we have that. Okay. see. Now, I also, question 31, when it asks you the foods that you particularly like and dislike, I'm surprised you don't like veggies. Can you tell me more about that?
So for me, I like the more like citrusy kind of fruits. So like I mentioned over here, like I love like oranges or like raspberries, something like very sweet. Like so for me, veggies like carrots or broccoli, like they just don't taste well to me. They just taste like grass, and I don't enjoy that. And so I kind of lean away from those foods. I don't really go for those. So I would much rather eat fruits than vegetables.
Are you open to maybe finding a different way to incorporate them in your diet?
I would love
to. Is that something you're interested in?
Yeah, I would definitely love to find a way to eat veggies. Just all the ways I've tried just don't work well for me.
And have you tried steaming them or just eating them raw?
Actually, I haven't. I actually never really thought about it that way. I always thought, broccoli is supposed to get out of the refrigerator, wash it up, put it in some hummus, and eat it. So I've never actually tried steaming that. That's a good idea.
Okay, so we'll definitely get back to that later, and maybe I could show you some ways to incorporate it into your diet.
Okay.
If that's what you're interested in. Let's see. And then, can you explain the last question? How do you describe your feeling about food?
Okay.
It says that in general, I like food and like to enjoy everything I eat. Sometimes I eat too much at a given time.
Yes, I do. So like I mentioned with school, like I have really weird hours. Sometimes I'm at school from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. If I have like a huge exam the next day. So I love food. I love eating food. I love trying. Like my mom, she's a Polish woman, so she cooks really good food all the time. But it's just very hard for me sometimes to eat. So like sometimes when I wake up late to school, I don't have time to make myself food. So I go to school hungry, not having anything to eat. So when I come home, I eat like a huge meal, and then I go to bed, which I know is not healthy for me. But it just kind of like the way I do it, and it's affecting me in bad ways.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that for me. Okay, and then you are a freshman in college.
Yes, I am. Great.
So, would you be interested in, again, after just going over your medical and history and knowing maybe alternatives to incorporate, like the vegetables that you don't like, or maybe finding foods that you could eat in between when you're in a rush in school or when you have a break? Is that something you'd be interested in?
I think that would actually be very beneficial for me. So yeah, that'd be very good to know.
Okay, before we move on, is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
As of right now, I don't really think of much, but definitely will have questions later on.
Great. So what I have done for you for the 3 days last week, I know I gave you a chart to fill out what you eat for the next 3 days in detail, as much detail as you can, of course. And what I have done, I've put it onto Super Tracker.
Ooh, what's that?
Super Tracker is where you add in all your foods and all your drinks. There's many different websites that you could do it.
Okay.
But I found that Super Tracker it's pretty easy to get into, and they have a variety of foods that you can input. And I was able to do that for you. So I did create. If you could look right over here on my computer. This is Super Tracker. So I was able to put in, I made you an account, and I wrote down all your information, how to log in. For later on, I just want to show you the little gists of it before. So this is your profile. From here, you could go on to your plan. And this plan, it tells you your allowance, your calories per day, the amount of grains and vegetables and fruits and dairy and your protein.
Wow.
So it's quite beneficial and interesting, I think. And if it's hard for you to incorporate things into your diet, it also gives you alternatives, let's see, such as grains. What counts for an ounce of grains? You could either have a slice of bread, or you could have a tortilla or a pancake. It's quite interesting.
Wow, and it's very well organized as well, so that's very easy for me to read.
Color-coded.
Very good.
Okay, so this is your plan. And then from here, you could go to My Reports. So what I really enjoy about this website, I'll show you right now, but you could get a nutrients report. So for the past, this is exactly what I have for you. I printed out for you.
Okay.
For the past 3 days, since you have added in your foods, I created a nutrient report, which summarized everything that you have eaten throughout the days, and it told you your status. If you're under, if you're over. So these are all your foods that I just reprinted for you.
Okay.
And it tells you that according to your weight and your height, Super Tracker thinks that in order for you to lose your weight, your daily calorie intake should be 2,400 calories. So I inputted all your food for here, so that you could take later home.
Ooh, yay.
But this is your nutrient report, exactly what we're looking on here.
Okay.
And I'll give this to you, and you could just take a quick look at it and let me know if there's anything you're surprised about, or if you're interested. If you like, you can mark it up.
Okay, well, the first thing that really hits me is the calories. For me, I always kind of heard people say 1,200, 1,500 for a female. So for me, that's actually very interesting and very, surprising, because that's why 1,142, which I kind of know is kind of a little bit too under, but I didn't know I was that under with my calories. What else is there that I'm very... Oh, iron. That's also very surprising to me. Iron. For iron, I don't actually even know what foods have iron, and so maybe that's probably the reason why I undereat, but I actually never saw it this way, so it's actually very weird to me.
Yeah, definitely. That's something we could go over later on. So for right now, later on we could definitely talk about more of your the blood pressure that you mentioned earlier, and the iron that you just mentioned right now, maybe incorporating vegetables.
Yeah, very good idea.
Any other concerns?
Also,
or anything interesting?
Protein. I know protein's chicken, right? Meats like that. But I also thought I was eating a good amount of chicken per day, and that I'm underneath that too is kind of to my surprise.
Could definitely help you with protein.
Yeah.
If that's something you're interested in.
Very interested in. And then kind of the rest, I kind of know. Kind of had a sense that vitamins, I'm kind of underneath my vitamins. And then, yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So we could take a look at is what you have highlighted for me is your calories, your protein, and your iron that you're just a little bit surprised, or...
Yeah.
Okay. So this we have for you, so we could hold on to that right there.
Okay.
And now, just a few questions before we go into your actual daily recording sheet.
Okay.
I see that you like bagels a lot, I could tell.
They're really easy for me, and I like easy, so that's probably one of the reasons why.
And easy on the go. I know you're always on the go. And I could see that you eat your bagels in the car as the place.
So, very fast.
One thing that is very, that you need to be more specific on, especially when entering on Super Tracker, if it's something that you're interested in doing later on after, they do ask you what type of bagel. Now if you go to the stores and they have your whole wheat, or they have the blueberry, or the varieties of food is endless.
Okay.
They'll probably want you to be more specific in bagel. So I wasn't sure what type of bagel. Okay. So I know when I added it into your Super Tracker for you, I did whole wheat. Okay. Is that something? Did you have a whole wheat bagel? I wasn't sure.
I usually have plain bagels.
Okay.
Is whole wheat healthier for you?
It is. Okay. It could be healthier when looking at what I could quickly show you before we move on. When looking at a nutrition chart, you could look in to see what the first ingredient is on a nutrition label. So if you look here, I have an example of a nutrition fact. So usually right here, down here, they would tell you all the things that are incorporated in the food. So the first thing that's always written is the one that there's a greater amount of. Okay. So if it says whole wheat, so the majority of the package or whatever's in it, let's say you're looking at bread, the majority of is whole wheat. Okay. But if it said something else, then it just goes from greater to least according to your nutrition facts. Okay. So that is something that we could look over.
I see.
let's just go back to here. So that was the type of bagel that I had a question on. And then let's see. I also saw that you had Caesar salad. Was it Caesar salad that you, since the place from school, or was it one that you made? I wasn't sure how to enter it.
Oh, so this that day I had an exam that day, so I was very stressed out. So I was at school basically all day, and so that actually was from school, and it was a Caesar salad, and so that's kind of where I got that from. And then, yeah, so that's basically where I got this.
So now these things, if you did want to change them later on or whatever you like, where you do go on Super Tracker, you could go on to right here when you go from here to My Home, and you could go to Food Tracker. So Food Tracker is exactly, you just press this little calendar and you find out which day you want to choose, or if you want to change up foods. But like I said, there's a variety of different plans that you could input your food if it's something that you're interested down the line. That's totally up to you. I just found Super Tracker. It's quite easy to understand. So as a starting point, I would think this is great. So let's see. So I think that was all the questions that I did have for you.
Okay.
Now let's see. Now, Carrie's risk assessment. I did see that you did mention you have dry mouth. Can you tell me more about that?
So for me, dry mouth, I know I don't drink enough water, and I drink a lot of coffee since I'm on the go a lot. And I know that coffee, this is what I've heard, that it kind of dehydrates you. And so I feel like that's probably my main reason for concern. And I also realized that my water intake is maybe a glass a day, not a big glass either. So I feel like that's probably my main concern, and it's uncomfortable for me. It's not on a daily basis, but when it's there, it's really, really icky. And so I kind of was wondering, is there anything I can do to kind of prevent my dry mouth, or have less of it at least?
What I would recommend, is maybe just drinking more water. And may I ask, how do you drink your coffee?
It kind of depends. Some days I like it sweet, so I have a caramel swirl, black though. Or some days I'll have a regular coffee with just some skim milk. So those are my two coffees. I either have it with skim milk, or I have a flavor.
So either sweet or not sweet.
Yeah, so it kind of depends on the day.
From what I'm hearing, either sweet or, it depends on the day.
Yes.
What you can do, since we are talking about Carrie's risk assessment, you can maybe try to drink water, incorporate water while drinking that coffee.
Okay.
How do you usually sip your coffee throughout the whole day, or do you sit there and drink the whole thing?
I usually sip on it throughout the day. So if I go to class at 8 in the morning, I buy my coffee before, and then I'll have that coffee till maybe 12, 1 o'clock. So it's a whole day kind of.
So it's really important, especially, so you don't have a high carries. Just maybe try to incorporate the water that you drink in between, or just brush your teeth after. Try to maybe drink your coffee within an hour instead of drinking it for 4 hours, because then you're more prone and susceptible to getting caries.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you did have just dry mouth, just in general, for maybe taking medications, I would recommend Biotin.
Okay.
So that loosens the plaque on your teeth.
Okay.
But I think that you might just be a little dehydrated.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why you're having the dry mouth.
Alrighty.
And especially, I know if you're studying and you have to talk out loud.
Yes.
Wasting a lot of your energy.
Yes. Very true.
Okay, so let's see. So I think that's all set with the Carrie's risk assessment for that.
Okay.
Now, what I have over here is our sucrose exposure analysis. So just pretty much I'll have you take a look at the foods that you did type out right here. So you're recording your daily recording sheet. So what I will give you is the fancy red pen.
Ooh, yay. Very excited.
And I'll just have you maybe circle or check off any sugary things, such as I have examples such as cola or fruit drinks, cookies, cakes, popcorn, any gum that you've had, or just mints,
Okay.
and circle those.
Okay.
Anything that that you just ate alone, not something that you ate with the meal with your protein and your fats, but just the sugary things that you had alone.
Okay. So the only thing I see here is like a granola bar because that's the only thing I actually had like by itself. The rest was kind of like a meal, like a bagel with cream cheese. So I think only a granola bar would be, and that would probably be for, let's see, the solid sugars, right?
So you could just maybe do like a little check on the granola bar.
Okay, and then just write it in this box?
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty. So
And you could go on to day 2 and day 3.
Okay. So day 2. Let's see. So liquid sugars. So that'd be my skim milk and my Splenda from there.
Because as you could see, you had the last meal that you had was at 8 o'clock, and then an hour later at night you had your coffee with the skim milk and Splenda.
Okay.
So that would be considered a liquid.
Okay. So I could just skim milk and Splenda.
And we could just account that as one since it was together.
Yeah. Okay.
And because you didn't have any protein or fat with it, that's more of a major concern. If you're having eggs and bagel and your coffee or a chocolate, if chocolate, that's something that you like,
okay,
then you have your protein and you have your fat, so that's not one of our major concerns.
Okay. Yep. And
Anything
so now, this was a bad day for me. So I see I had chocolate chip cookies and I had some popcorn. So I believe that would probably be in the solid sugars as well. So I'm going to just write that down for you. Popcorn. And I had an exam that day.
And now since you ate those an hour separate, that's why we'll count those separately. But if you ate them together in one, then it would just be as one.
Okay, very good. So that's that. And then day 3.
So that's right over here.
So I had a bag of Lay's potato chips at 2. So that would probably be under the solid sugars, right? So chips. And then I have the cookies as well. And then that's all I see from there.
So now what we can do over here, you could total them up. So we'll count this one as 1, so you could write a total as 1. And then the granola bar, and these 2, and then these 2.
5.
And then from what we see over here, you didn't have any sugar such as dried fruits or candy. So 0. That is 0. Okay. Let me just add these up. So your total exposure is 6, and if you multiply them by 20 minutes,
120.
Okay. So now what we could do for the same thing on the back side for your caries risk assessment, we have your liquids. So liquids, we had that 1 liquid. So you could write that 1 liquid over here. Okay. And your solid stickies, which we have 5 of those. That's the total for the 3 days. And slowly dissolving, we had the 0.
Okay.
So this is going to be for your 3 days. So you just multiply 1 times 1, which is 1. And then 5 and 2. So that's 10. And 0 for here.
Alright.
So now if we add these up, it'll be 11. So you could write 11. And then we'll divide that by 3 because there were 3 days that you had your food.
And then that's like 3.8, I'd say.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
So for 3.8, that is your caries risk.
Okay.
That's what we have just come to conclude about. That's your caries risk assessment. So you are about right over here. So that's at maybe like a moderate risk.
Okay.
So you could circle that.
Okay.
Because you didn't have any hard candy or mints, or maybe you forgot to add them in. It also happens. You're at a moderate risk, which isn't too bad.
Okay.
But there's different ways to lower your risk of caries. So if you like, you could read these.
Okay.
So reduce the frequency of between meal sweets. So maybe eating the sweets within your meal.
Yeah.
Don't sip constantly unsweetened beverages. So maybe your coffee, try to cut that down or drink it with your breakfast, and then go brush your teeth or drink some water or mouthwash, floss.
Okay.
Use water or milk instead of juices, but I see that you didn't have any juices, which was very good. Avoid using solely dissolved items such as hard candy, cough drops, or breath mints. Okay. But did we see any of that?
No, I actually don't really eat much of those, so that's not really a problem for me.
Okay. And then eat more non-decaying, prompting foods.
Okay.
Low-fat cheese, raw vegetables, which we're going to get to.
Okay.
So that will save right here, okay? And then just a few more things that I like to show you. So this is a nutritional counseling chart that I've come up for you. Since we did mention blood pressure, I know it's something that you're not concerned about right now, but maybe in the future. Do I have that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so for your blood pressure, I know you said you were 120 over 70. Is that correct on your history?
That's my approximate.
Okay. So blood pressure, systolic over diastolic. I know you said you're an EMT, so I'm assuming you know this.
Yes, I do.
So right now on the chart it says you're at a normal blood pressure. Things that you can do to maintain that good pressure, blood pressure, just work out, get your sleep, eat a lot of nutritional foods, and avoid your trans fat, your cheeses, smoking, which I know you don't smoke.
Okay.
Let's see. So in order to have a healthful diet, eat some variety, balance, moderation, and adequacy. Okay. So have a little bit of everything. Okay. So this is Choose My Plate, exactly what I just showed you. And we did talk about earlier last week when we did meet up that the palm of your hand is the size of like the of your lean meats, and then your fist is your cooked pasta or your rice. The thumb, just your thumb, is the peanut butter, and then your thumb, the actual thumb, is your cheeses.
Yes.
So a helpful diet if you're like on the go and you don't have your measuring cups. So let's see, vegetable groups. Ways that you can incorporate vegetables. You could have your canned, you could have frozen, or your fresh, or your cooked. Okay. So I know one of our concerns was your vegetables.
Yes.
So one thing that you can do for your vegetables, if you're interested, of course, maybe cook them. You said you do a lot of meats.
I do. So
maybe that's something you could try.
I'll definitely be trying that this week.
Or even frozen. Have you ever had frozen vegetables?
No, I actually haven't.
And you just warm them up?
I'm probably going to be doing that as well.
Good idea. That's something to consider if you're interested. So fruits, you love your fruits, so that's where you get your fiber and your potassium and your vitamin C. A variety of proteins too, since you do eat a lot of salads. What I could say, just in my experience, I always, in order to boost up my proteins, I add some beans or some sunflower seeds, almonds. Is that something you like? Even just looking at this picture, you could incorporate a lot of things.
Yeah. I've never actually thought of a salad with like nuts, so that actually sounds like a really cool and fun way to mix up my salad. So
that's definitely exciting.
Yeah.
You could also add eggs, as we have here in our picture. And this also, I made a copy for you could take home. But another way to get your protein, since protein was also one of your major concerns, you do have your bagels that do give you your protein. But you could also add in maybe some peanut butter, black beans, some soy yogurts or milk. Nothing I've ever tried, but if you're interested.
Okay.
Some potatoes. Some yummy stuff.
Very interesting.
So this is dairy, which dairy wasn't one of your concerns. No. For dental caries, since we just did talk about our dental caries, there are 4 things that do come together to incorporate into forming a cavity. So you need a tooth, like a susceptible tooth, the time that you eat it, your fermentable carbohydrates, and your streptus mutans. And those 4 together just bring together a cavity. So, things that you could do to reduce it. Brushing your teeth, flossing.
Yeah.
An interesting thing, do you floss before or after you brush?
I actually floss after.
An interesting thing is flossing before is more beneficial for you. That's how you should be doing it.
Oh.
So you get into your interproximal areas, and then when you brush your teeth, you know, you could get into those little spots.
Oh.
So here's just a picture of how to brush and floss regularly.
Okay.
And then dental caries, and then swaps that you could do.
Okay.
Let's see. And then we already talked about the nutritional facts for you,
Yes,
okay?
yeah.
So now, one thing that we can look into right here is you're assessing your readiness to change.
Okay.
Let's think about what you would like to change.
I believe that my main concern right now is kind of the whole eating more iron. So like maybe like the beans, like you said, stuff like that. Drinking maybe more water, which is also like a big concern of mine because since I'm very like dehydrated, that could be one. So those are my main concerns as of right now, and maybe balancing out like my meals better like throughout the day. So like eating, you know, a good amount throughout the day, so I'm not hungry at night. Would be a good.
And a question for you. I know you did mention that I didn't bring up earlier about not eating enough calories. What do you feel about that?
That's very surprising to me. So like I will have to just maybe eat more nuts, which I know are very calorie filled, and I don't want to like be under eating too much either. So like I feel like just incorporating like nuts, which would also help me with like my like iron like going up and stuff like that. So just kind of making my meals more like colorful and, you know, better would be a lot.
And just get in the little extra calories.
Yeah.
Because from the nutritional data report that I did print for you said you were under calories.
Yeah,
so you seem very surprised with that.
Yeah, very surprising. But, yeah.
Well, it seems like you have come quite a long way since last week. I think that from what I understand and what I see, do you want to make a change?
I definitely do. I definitely do. I want to, you know, be healthy and like be able to teach my future kids how to like, you know, also maintain a healthy life, and I don't want to like have to worry about dying young because of like high blood pressure, just being unhealthy, you know, like you know, I'm an EMT, I teach people to be healthy, so I like myself want to be healthy, like, you know, show a good example to everybody.
Oh, it's nice to hear that.
Very beneficial.
So, if you can, you could go for that red pen.
Okay.
So the readiness to change question. It provides simple readiness to change statements for 2 lifestyle behaviors, working on changing weight and on becoming more physical active. So here's a statement. You could check one of those off.
Yes.
Here's an assessment ruler.
Okay.
So you could tell us how ready you are to change. If you are, if you're not ready, 1 from not ready to change at all, 12 being very high that you do want to change.
I'm pretty high up there right now. Like an 11.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. Okay. So now, are you interested in maybe meeting in a couple of weeks, and you could tell me if you've changed anything, or
I think that
you're interested
I think like this kind of helps me, you know, see perspective. So I will definitely be contacting you again.
Oh, that is great. Maybe we could think of are you interested in thinking of a goal for next time that we do meet?
Maybe like even like losing a pound, you know, just this like show me that like just eating healthier could really like boost my metabolism and just kind of like, you know, make me a healthier person. So I think that's definitely something I could do.
Okay, so I'll just write that over here. So maybe a goal is a pound. And what else was it that you did say? Was it just nutrition-wise? What's
like nutrition-wise, like eating more balanced meals throughout the day. And also like supplementing in like water in my diet, which is a big problem right now.
Okay, so losing a pound, eating more balanced meals. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yes.
Great. So that's what we could work on for next week. I'll definitely give you my email.
Okay.
So if you do need to come in contact with me, if you have any other questions. Okay. And then I'll give you this ruler. That you could take home with you, and maybe a motivation or anything like that. So what we did go over today was all your nutrition and your nutritional report and your caries assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any other questions that you have for me?
Right now, not really, but if I have questions, I will definitely be using this email.
Great. I hope this session has helped you.
Yes, it has.
I'm hoping you got something out of it.
I did.
And I can't wait to see you again in a week and hear your experiences and your changes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Kasia, for everything.
This is for you. Thank you.
Well, have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Very nice to see you.
Very nice to see you too.
Have a good day.
You too.